today's headlines. According to the Polish Prime Minister, Poland deeply values relations with Vietnam. And the railway system prepares for the Tet holiday. Good evening, you're watching today's headlines, where we bring you the top stories of the day. Prime Minister Minchin and his Polish counterpart Donald Tusk held a joint press conference on Thursday during the Vietnamese leader's official visit to Poland. And at the press conference, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk welcomed Vietnamese Prime Minister Minchin's visit, which coincides with the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Poland and Vietnam. Poland deeply valued this long-standing and trusted partnership. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Minchin affirmed that Vietnam always values and wishes to further strengthen the traditional friendship with Poland. The two leaders agreed to consider soon upgrading the bilateral relationship to a strategic level. And during his official visit to Poland, Prime Minister Minchin met with Polish President Duda. President Duda called the visit a turning point for strengthening the comprehensive partnership between Poland and Vietnam. Both leaders pledged to strengthen high-level exchanges, fully implement the EVFTA, and boost trade in key products. President Duda affirmed Poland's support for the swift ratification of the Vietnam-EU Investment Protection Agreement and praised the Vietnamese community's contributions in Poland. The Prime Minister thanked Poland for supporting the Vietnamese community and expressed hope for their recognition as an official minority group in Poland. And on Friday afternoon at Vietnam time, Prime Minister Minchin met with the leaders of several leading Polish corporations in the fields of pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and aviation.
During a meeting with the chairwoman of Adamed Pharma, Prime Minister Minchin congratulated the group on its effective investment in Vietnam's pharmaceutical sector and welcomed its plans to expand investment scale. The group's leader highly appreciated Vietnam's remarkable development and expressed gratitude for the active support from the government and local authorities during its operations. The Prime Minister suggested that Adamed enhance production for both domestic healthcare and exports, expand investment and transfer technology to Vietnam.
After that, during a meeting with Deputy Head of LOT, Poland's national airline, Prime Minister Minchin acknowledged the group's proposals to resume operations in the Vietnamese market, affirming that there are no obstacles to this plan. The Prime Minister directed relevant agencies to promptly address LOT's proposals in accordance with regulations and encouraged the airline to continue collaborating with Vietnam Airlines to operate routes.
Now, for the first time, Hanoi Tax Department collected over $18 billion in taxes in 2024. This exceeded the estimate by 25.6%, up nearly 22% over the same period in 2023, and continuing to lead the entire tax sector. The result was announced at the Hanoi Tax Department's summary conference today. The application of information technology contributes greatly to this result, as it improves the efficiency of tax management, simplify administrative procedures, and prevent tax losses, especially e-commerce tax. On the other hand, the tax department has exempted and reduced tax for nearly 150,000 enterprises. On Friday morning, two struggling banks, GP Bank, Global Petroleum Bank, and DAB Eastern Asia Bank, were officially transferred to Vietnam Prosperity Joint Stock Commercial Bank (VP Bank) and Ho Chi Minh City Development Joint Stock Commercial Bank (HD Bank). Following the transfer, VP Bank and HD Bank will fully own GP Bank and DAB. All customer rights and interests at both banks will remain protected under existing agreements and legal regulations. And this restructuring, while complex and unprecedented, is being carefully overseen with close coordination among authorities. Coming up next, policy adjustments to tackle emerging challenges in human trafficking. And the railway system prepares for the Tet holiday. Now moving on to other news, a total of 410 Vietnamese working in transnational fraud groups in Cambodia have just been transferred by the Cambodian side to Vietnam. The Ministry of Public Security's investigative police have prosecuted the case and arrested 9 individuals for using computers and telecommunications networks to commit fraudulent appropriation of property of Vietnamese citizens. These subjects were initially identified to work in the Special Economic Zone of Ba Viet City in Cambodia, with the leader being Chinese. Each employee is assigned a monthly fraud target of around $3,900, and if failed, they will be tortured, electrocuted, and beaten. The scale and tactics of human trafficking constantly evolve, requiring new and more flexible approaches. Therefore, adjustments in policy planning are necessary to promptly address emerging challenges posed by human trafficking.
According to the 2023 migration profile released by Vietnam's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the International Organization for Migration, IOM, human trafficking for forced labor has emerged as an alarming issue in 2023, with more than 50% of the victims are men.
Previously, victims were often from ethnic communities, but now there is a noticeable increase in victims from lowland areas. We should raise awareness about trafficking to a broader audience and strictly handle these crimes.
Technology has become a powerful tool for traffickers. Human trafficking is increasingly well organized, making detection and dismantling efforts more challenging.
Improving access for low-skilled workers to essential skills such as digital, soft, job application, and entrepreneurial skills. In partnership with relevant Vietnam government and Microsoft, IOM developed the e-learning platform congdanso.edu.vn, benefiting over 13,000 Vietnamese learners.
According to the 2023 migration profile, there has also been a recent rise in organ trafficking and trafficking of unborn children. Therefore, alongside prevention and awareness efforts, government should work to ensure social welfare, employment, and healthcare services for the vulnerable.
A noteworthy weather warning for northern Vietnam highlights an unusual dry winter this year. Low rainfall combined with prolonged dry spells is increasing the risk of forest fires in mountainous areas and exacerbating air pollution in the northern Midlands and lowlands. After Typhoon Yagi in September and last weekend's frost and hoarfrost, millions of hectares of trees in the northern region of Vietnam have been broken and dried out, becoming highly flammable materials covering forest surfaces. Air quality is forecasted to remain at poor and unhealthy levels through the weekend, posing health risks to residents. Now, on Friday, Hing Province inaugurated several key cultural and tourism projects, including the Hương Bình cable car route connecting festival regions such as Hương Pagoda in Hanoi, Diem Pagoda in Hòa Bình, and Tam Chúc Pagoda in Hà Nam. The system has a capacity of transporting 10,000 passengers per day, with a total length of nearly 3 kilometers and an investment of over $67 million. Hòa Bình has planned to develop Lac Thủy district into a cultural and tourism hub. The province aims to welcome 4.9 million visitors this year, generating a tourism revenue of over $213 million. Now, in response to the increased travel demand during the 2025 Lunar New Year, the railway system will operate additional trains, notably at 2 trains departing from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City stations, running overnight during New Year's Eve and offering additional exciting amenities for passengers.
The decoration of the 2 community carriages is being rushed to be ready for this year's New Year's Eve overnight trains. Designed with folk art related to Tet, these carriages will also host community cultural activities during the journey.
This year, in response to the trend of celebrating Tet through travel, we've introduced new services, including community carriages, with activities for passengers to enjoy the Tet atmosphere while traveling across the country.
In addition to entertainment services, safety measures for the trains have been carefully prepared. Since November, all passenger carriages for the Tet peak period have been serviced for technical safety, with ongoing quality control throughout operations.
During peak transport, trains are quickly prepared for the next trip. All preparations, including manpower and materials, are carefully planned to resolve issues within 2 to 3 hours, ensuring the trains continue running smoothly.
Around 900 carriages for the upcoming Tet season have completed safety checks, promising exciting experiences for both domestic and international passengers.
Now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news for today's headlines. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.